Welcome back to this video tutorial. We can discuss about one more program regarding recursive function. Okay, and the program is for finding the nth term in Fibonacci series. Okay. And here it is the Fibonacci series, and the terms in this series are like 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, etc. What is the property of these terms? Here, the first two terms are 0 and 1 respectively. After that, the remaining terms are obtained as a sum of previous two terms. That is, this 1 is obtained as a sum of these previous two terms 0 and 1. 0 plus 1, that is why this particular term is 1. And this 2 is obtained as a sum of previous two terms, that is this 1 plus 1, that is 2 here, and 3 as a sum of previous two terms, 1 plus 2, that is 3 here, and the 5 is obtained as the sum of 2 plus 3, 5, and so on. So this is the property of Fibonacci series. The first two terms are 0 and 1, and the remaining terms are obtained as the sum of previous two terms in the series. Okay, and in here our task is to find the nth term of Fibonacci series, right? So here we have one consideration, one constraint, that is we need to start counting from 0. The 0th term of the series is 0. The first term is this one, second term is 2, third term is thus, fourth term is this 3, fifth term is 5, etc. Okay, this one is actually repeating. So consider this particular assumption, that is we are going to count from 0. 0th term, first term, second term, and so on. Okay, so based on this we need to calculate the nth term of this Fibonacci series. Okay, and this is the program code, right? So here we have a function fib, okay, which is declared here, and this is the body of our fib function, actually for finding the Fibonacci series or finding the nth term of our Fibonacci series, right? So here it is the variable, that is the formal parameter, right? So if this value equal to 0, so this function returns value 0. If this value is 1, then it returns 1. Otherwise, for the numbers other than 0 and 1, it returns the sum of previous two terms, I minus 1th term plus I minus 2th term. So here it calls the Fibonacci function again 2 times here inside the body of this Fibonacci function. Okay, so this is the case of recursion here, right? So inside this main, here it calls the function fib with an actual value equal to 5. So this is our program. While calling this function, what happened? It will transfer the control from this point to the body of our function, that is moving to the definition of this fib function. And the first step is copying this value to the formal parameter, that is this actual 5 value is copied to this formal parameter I first, because this is the case of function implementation using call by value method. In call by value method, the first step is, after calling the function, transfer control to the function definition, and this actual values are copied to the formal parameters correspondingly. After that, we can start the function body execution using the values available in formal parameters. So first, this 5 is copied into this formal parameter or formal variable I first. Then using this I value equal to 5, we can execute this body. Okay, so for this particular case of fib 5, we can consider various iteration like this. First, call from our main function fib of 5. So while calling this, what happened? Transfer control to this body. This I equal to 5 now, I is not equal to 0. So move into this else if part, I not equal to 1, and move into this else case. So it returns fib of I minus 1 plus fib of I minus 2. That is returns fib of I minus 1. 5 minus 1 is 4 plus fib of 3. Okay, here it is the case of recursion. Fib is again called with new parameter. Okay, so this fib of 4 again calls what? This 4 is not equal to 0, not equal to 1. So again execute the else part. So it returns fib of 3 plus fib of 2. Similarly, this fib of 3 again not equal to 0. This 3 is not equal to 0, not equal to 1. So it returns fib of 2 plus fib of 1. Right. So this fib of 1, this fib of 3 is called this fib of 2 plus fib of 1. And this fib of 2 calls fib of 1 plus fib of 0. And this fib of 2 calls fib of 1 plus fib of 0. And this fib of 1 is substituted with value 1. Because this match with the else if part, I value now become 1, so it returns 1 to the called location. Right? So, in this particular execution, here this fib of 2 again calls fib of 1 plus fib of 0. And here we have fib of 1 plus fib of 0, fib of 1 plus fib of 0. Okay, what happens? This fib of 1 is substituted with value 1. Because again I value become equal to 1, so returns 1 here, and this fib of 2 returns fib of 1 plus fib of 0. Okay, and here this fib of 1 returns 1 and this fib of 0. That means I now become 0. So this is the case of our first if body. So here it returns value 0. Right? Now the next cases, this fib of 1. This fib of 1 returns, that is this else if part become valid now. So it returns value 1. And here the I value is 0. So the if condition itself gets satisfied. So it returns value 0 now. Right? Okay. Now in this case, what happens? This fib of 1 returns value 1 and fib of 0 returns value 0. Okay, so here this is the intermediate case. Now we can calculate this plus this, that is in this fib of 2, which is replaced by the returned value of fib of 1 plus fib of 0. Fib of 1 returns 1 here, fib of 0 returns 0 here. So to this particular location it returns value 1 plus 0. Okay, then in this particular case of fib of 3, what happened? It returns, here now, this 1 plus 0, that is 1, is returned to this called location fib of 2. Right? Now, in the next case, this 1 plus 1, 2 is returned to the called location of fib of 3, because this fib of 3 is transfer control to this fib of 2 plus fib of 1. So after calculating this, it returns value 1 plus 1, 2 to the location from where it is called. Right? Now here it is 2 and here it is 1. Okay. Now we can return this 2 plus 1 to the location from where it is called. That is this location of fib of 4. Here we can return the sum of these two values. Okay. Now in order to get the final value, we need to get this value, right? So calculate the next numbers. Okay, so this 1 plus 0 is returned to the location from where it is called, that is this position, and this one is added with this one, and here it returns value 2. Right? Then this 3 is added with this 2, and finally it returns value 5 to where? To the location from where it is called, that is inside this main function it returns value 5. Okay, so this is the case of this fib function's recursive calling with an actual value of 5. Right? Now we can consider its function program execution. Right? The same function with value 5, after its execution it returns value 5 here. Okay, this is the fifth term. So consider the series again. Here 0th term, first term, second term, third term, fourth term and fifth term. The fifth term is 5. Okay, now we can execute again. Okay, and display 7th term. Sorry, going to display the 7th term of the series. Okay, we need to get the value 13 exactly. The result is 13 here. Okay, thank you.